All right, time to talk about the wonderful world of swivel. Okay, lots of people have lots of questions about swivel, whether you're gonna, how far you're gonna swivel your ankle out and all that. Let's basically break down in the simplest terms to re-update my video that I did in 2006, because a lot of people said, oh, it's too old, and now YouTube allows you a lot bigger gigabyte space. So let's clarify things. First of all, most drummers, when they're pressing on their pedal, if they're playing heel down, you're just like that. And then after a certain speed, Colin Bailey, master drummer, taught us way back in the early 60s that all you do is you lift your heel off the footboard and you just continue to push forward. I explained this on my Techniques, Motions, and Applications DVD in a little bit more detail, so I'm not going to go into this. We're talking about swivel. Then you're just catching the rebound. Most drummers will play that way. Okay, then after a certain point, you just start swiveling your foot, and all you're doing is taking the tension off your Achilles tendon. So all I'm doing is this, watch. But see, I'm physically tapping the pedal. I'm physically turning my leg, swiveling. That gives you a lot of power, and that's great. Now what I started doing is realizing the music that I play, I needed a little less power. So all I'm doing here is using more ankle. Less leg and more ankle. This, lots of power, but more leg. This, not as much power, and it's all ankles. Okay, then the same thing I do for, like I said earlier, I explained about the triplet. I go, so you go basically one note in, one note out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Tapping physically. And like I said, this is a bed, this is in the hotel room. This is the easiest way to explain. I'm not using a real tight mesh head, so people can't criticize me for that. If you can do it on a bed, it's much easier on a bass drum. And then I just use my ankle. Okay, and then I just basically combine it. So the triplet, I go. See, that's where I'm talking about a molar triplet. I'm actually physically playing the accent. And then I use the triplets on both sides. Okay, so then swivel, you start both feet. See, I'm physically using all my legs, lots of power. Now I'm going to go to the ankles for higher speeds. And I'm not working hard, so like I said, we're here. And then people say, okay, one note per side or two notes per side. Or three. Four if you want. Whatever you want to do, you know. I use it for accent. So whatever way you want to do. Like the fours are the two notes per side. For me, just seems to gives me a little bit more endurance. So okay, something like that. I hope that explains everything for all you YouTubers out there. Okay, there we go. I think we could do it. And like I said, I'm using my A21 lasers. I love these pedals. The springs, I loosen them off about halfway. I get the VDL all the way back so people can go, oh, all these so-called secrets. Okay, and I'm playing on a bed. You know, like, I mean, most drummers, I think I'm the same as most of you guys. If I'm in a hotel room and I don't have anything to practice, I use the Hans and Foots for practicing, because this is loud sometimes. But in the daytime, there's no sense bringing a practice pad with me. I can just basically use a bed. Got the same basic blanket that every other hotel has. Okay. Take care, and God bless. Talk to you guys later.